Number of this is my final launch project. Today I'm going to share some or works that were inspired by others' memories. I'll tell you a little bit about the memories. Memories comparing consists of big movements and arbitrary activities. What makes me the most important source to the present environment today is inspired how the first part of the dress is. It was particularly emerged thrust of mythological figures during it was used in art, particularly by people during the Renaissance and the Renaissance. Beliefs have been made in time from 1470 to 1480. In myth, Wallace sees Daphne immediately falls in love. He runs to her, but she is not resisting, so she runs away. Eventually, she is turned into a royal tree to see the paintings. In this painting, can you see that Daphne is in the process of transforming into a balloon as a cloth tends to embrace her. This even shows us a timeline. It's called the birth of Adonis, made from in 1506, 1508. And on the left, we see two lovers representing Adonis' conception. In the Metamorphoses, Adonis' mother is turned into a tree. And so here we see people bring Adonis from his mother. And right here we see Venus, Adonis' future lover. So it's kind of a representation of his life. This painting has been attributed to two people throughout the ages. But the general consensus is that it was an early work by Titan. Extreme or Italian Renaissance painting. It is a series of 7 large paintings based on other metamorphoses. They're referred to as all 7 of the paintings in the series. It's made in 1524, 1526 by Titan. It's part of his series. Here we see Mrs. Donahue confined after her father gets about prophecy regarding the first funeral. Despite being completely isolated, Jupiter comes to her in the form of a golden shower to impregnate her. And after this, she becomes pregnant with his child and gives birth to a boy named Perseus. Different versions of that painting, and what I find interesting is that in the previous painting we saw the figure by her side was Cupid, but in these we see another woman, probably a maid of some sorts. And there are some slight variations to these paintings as well. Here we see animal, and here we see some different variations of how the golden shower painted. Right here we actually see part of Jupiter's face. Next we have Venus and Adonis, made in 1554. This painting shows Adonis pulling away from Venus as he is heading off to hunt, despite Venus's precautions. Perseus Andromeda, made in 1554, 1556. Depicts the hero Perseus, son of Danae, fighting the sea monsters to save Andromeda. She was ordered to be sacrificed after her mother insulted some of the gods, and after he defeats the sea monster in the Metamorphoses, he is able to marry. It's very quick. In 1816, this painting portrays the myth of Europa being abducted by the god Jupiter in form of. In the myth, he lures her away from the shore and empty writing on his back, runs into the sea and brings her to Greece. This painting is very intense and violent, showing Europa's distress and the distress of the people on the shore, most likely hurting deaths. You can also see in this painting a dark contrast between here and here. The sky is very clear, very blue bright. Here, see storms and sees that dark water, adding to the feeling of distress. Speaking of Diana and Taeyeon. This depicts the moment when Taeyeon stumbles across Diana and her niece bathing. Diana is furious and turns him into a stag, where he's then hunted and devoured by his two dogs. Diana and Callisto, made 1556, 1599. This painting also depicts the goddess Diana. Here we see the moment where she discovers that Callisto, one of her nymphs, has gotten pregnant by Jupiter. She exiles her and forces her to leave the nymphs because she has broken her vow of chastity. Seventh painting in the series Metamorphoses is The Death of Bactea, made in 1559, 1570. This painting shows Diana transforming Bactea into a stag after he sees her writing. This painting is a continuation of the previous painting that we saw earlier. Right. Alan Brown. So Venus and Adonis, and shows Adonis in slap. She tries to keep him contented in fear of him getting hurt. Here we see Cupid, his son, putting back a cyno, which is used as a hunting dog. This shows that they are trying to prevent him from hunting, yet he goes and eventually is defeated. This shows the aftermath of the Renaissance act, called Venus Weekly Begins in 1696, 1697, was presented. It shows Venus mourning the death of Adonis after his coming by death. In the Baroque period, the story of Venus and Adonis was popular as an allegory for death and have Andromeda chained to the rocks. 1635 record. Depicts Andromeda chained as a sacrifice because of the mother's visit to the goddess Juno, moments before Perseus saves her. Painting hybrid brains, called Diana bathing Nets with Ictyon and Callisto in 1634. This painting combined both the story of Ictyon's transformation into stag, as well as Callisto's story about her pregnancy found out and her ostracized. Shares all the last there the spinners in 1654. It's also known as the Fable of the Red. This painting at first looks like an intricacy, but it actually is the story of Arachne in honor of her Minerva disguises as a woman, and Arachne and Minerva have been meeting contest. In the background, you can see a tapestry where it looks like Minerva is painting, indicating that this is not, in fact, an everyday scene. This painting's titled Pygmalion in Mountain, made in 1890, depicts the sculptor Pygmalion kissing and embracing a statue. In Autumn Metamorphoses story, the spokeswoman speaker falls so deeply in love with it that he asks Venus to make his wife. Edward Narcissus, made in 1903 by John William Marcus, depicts the story of Narcissus and Echo in Metamorphoses. In the story, Echo no longer has peaceful form, only repeating back the words that other people say. Narcissus is unconcerned by people who are interested in him romantically and seeks his own company. Eventually, he catches the image of himself in water, falls deeply in love with himself, and eventually wastes away. He's also inspired by the story of Narcissus, called Metamorphoses of Narcissus, made in 1907 by Salvador Dali. It shows his interpretation of this myth. So right here we see Narcissus wasting away in the water, and you see the narcissus flower growing, and in the background we see a group of people which represent his admirers. It's a translated manuscript from 1480 of Metamorphoses, with the story of Perseus and Thisbe illustrated right here. This manuscript is the first full English translation of Metamorphoses that was made. All right. Thank you so much for listening.